Hi, Rob Meads. Welcome back to another renovation update here at Worthington Country Club. I am so pleased to have back with us Ron Garl, the key architect for this particular renovation. Ron, welcome back to Worthington.
Great, nice to be here. Thank you, Rob.
It's really nice to see you back here. You know, I know you get a chance to travel around the world. Do you get a chance to check out the updates on and the progress of this renovation as it's going along?
We have really enjoyed them. You're doing a great job, and I know the members really appreciate it. And it is a super way to keep up with the renovation project.
Well, I'm glad you're able to see it. I'm sure it's exciting for you to see progress from the air, even though you may be in China.
You know, that's one of the neat things about it. You can look at it anywhere, and I'm telling you, the details that you're doing are outstanding. We're really pleased with it.
I do appreciate that. You know, I know you've been here for a day or so and have been around. How have you surveyed the progress of the course so far?
Fortunately, they've done a lot of work in the last couple of weeks. I tell you, it's been amazing what they've gotten done. Of course, they have a crew for each phase of it. You know, if you start at the bottom, you can hear the construction in the background there, which is great. But, you know, they have a separate crew for drainage. They got a separate crew for irrigation. They got a separate crew for building greens, traps, USGA qualifications on the way we're doing the greens. There's different crews. There's grassing crews, and there's a separate sod crew. It's amazing the number of people that are working out here and what they're getting done.
I think a lot of my videos show that, show the different phases it's going through, and cleaning cart paths and shoveling and sodding and all the other stuff that's going on. You know, I think it's no secret that the weather has played a major factor here with the rain and trying to keep up. And I know it not only affects the work that's trying to be accomplished here, but it also has to affect supply, bringing in sprigs and sod and sand.
That's a great point, because everything, all the materials come from different places, and there's a lot of it. You know, you mentioned sod, for example. You know, the sod fields in Central Florida, it's rained so much, unusually heavy rains. By the way, 80% of all the rains in the state of Florida are usually a half inch or less. This year's an anomaly. I'm going to blame it on Mother Nature. I know some people want to blame it on Donald Trump or something, but it's an anomaly that we're getting so many heavy rains. I was just talking to somebody that had another job close to here, and they said they got 28 inches of rain last week.
Oh.
I'm sorry, last month. 28 inches last month. I mean, you know, we got 17 and a half here in 10 days, but that also affects the sod fields. So we're having problems cutting sod. You know, and most of the sod comes from Central Florida, for example. Well, the sod we're getting now is coming out of Georgia, and so we're having to truck it much further. But we're getting it all worked out, and it just goes to show you how the whole team's pulling together here to get it done.
How do you anticipate keeping everything on schedule?
That's a challenge. But, for example, you know, just talking to one of the members yesterday, Steve, out here in the parking lot yesterday afternoon, he mentioned that he saw people, friends of his were telling him he saw people working here on July the 4th. They saw people working here Sunday. That's how you do it. People put in a lot of extra hours on weekends, holidays, those kind of things to make it happen. Yeah.
That's obviously the extra overtime is going to help a lot. Briefly tell us a little about the sand that's going in the sand traps, and where does that come from, and what kind of sand is it?
Sure. The sand comes from up by Lake Wales. It comes from the central part. Florida has a ridge up through the middle of the state. They even call it the ridge section. And of course, millions of years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, before anybody was in the state of Florida, all that sand was accumulated from the ocean, and it's been there forever. And those sand ridges produce some of the best white sand in the world. Matter of fact, don't tell anybody, that's the same place the Augusta National gets its sand from. And we're getting it from the same source up there.
And the advantage is?
And the advantage is it's great sand for golf play. It's pure. It's got great white color. You know, the three things that you really want. And there's just no better sand in the world.
Oh, that's terrific. Ron, you've been very, very generous with your time, and I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with me this morning. By the way, how's the course in Casablanca coming along?
That's actually coming quite well. We're still moving trees and doing stuff there. I just had a conversation with them recently over there. You know, but to come back to here, there are a lot of things here that are happening. We talk about the big things, but there's a lot of small details that are going on here. For example, yesterday I was on hole number 17, and they're moving coquina out there,
Right.
getting ready to spread the coquina. But even on the tees themselves, on the tees, most people just think you build a tee and then you sod it. We sod the side of it because it's sloped and the water will run off and do erosion. But on the top it's flat, so we sprig it. But if you look at the quality of the work being done here, you'll see at the top of the tees, if you looked at it, there's a little ledge that goes over, and it goes down straight for about 1.5 inches, because when we put the sod up there, it keys in perfect with it. That's the kind of details that you're seeing in the construction here at Worthington. There's nothing you can do any better than what's being done here. I'm very proud of this place.
And it's all very time consuming.
Yes, it is.
All right, well, we still have our thing going about getting into Casablanca. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do that at some point. Which also begs the question, when you finish a round of golf in Casablanca, does somebody come out of the clubhouse and say, play it again, Sam?
That's right.
Actually, that'd be a great sign coming off the 18th green. Thanks again, Ron. I really appreciate your time again. So let's go out and take a look at a few of the things Ron's been talking about as we travel around all 18 holes of Worthington Country Club.
Lovely day, 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 lovely day.
Well, we didn't quite make it around all 18 holes, but I believe you saw enough to know just how much progress is being made and how much work is being accomplished. I want to emphasize a point that Ron made earlier in this update. We've talked about the obstacles the construction crew has to overcome. Most of them are weather related, and this is a perfect example. If you remember, Ron talked about the delicate work being done on the tee boxes, how where the celebration sprigs go is raised about 1.5 inches from where the sod is placed, so that they are perfectly aligned. Well, about 15 minutes after I took this photo here, you'll see there was a torrential downpour, and this is what the same tee box looked like just minutes later. Of course, it meant the crew had to go back and completely rebuild, all of which adds to the time spent repeating the same task. It can be very frustrating if you're trying to meet a deadline. It's a pleasure bringing you these updates each week. If you're like me, you now know a lot more about the challenges of renovating a golf course. I thank Ron Garl not only for his time, but his expert knowledge and the passion he brings to Worthington. I always enjoy his visits. Until next week, this is Rob Meads. Take care.